Welcome to our 9th annual spring sale, or what would otherwise be our 9th annual spring sale. Hopefully we'll be back in person in a live event here next year. For those of you who have been with us in the past, you know that we do this event every spring, typically the second Saturday of April. It's always a big event for us, and despite the crazy times we're living in, we kind of wanted to keep and preserve as much of that event as possible. And so we're going to run this sale preview. It's not something we've done in the past for online sales. We're going to run this very much like we do our live sales. So I'll talk a little bit about our program, about our students. Then I'll invite our dean, Dr. Tony Brannon, up to make a few remarks, and then we'll roll through some pigs as far as the preview goes. I'd like to start and talk just a little bit about our program first. For those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with our program, we're really set up a lot different than most, and that's really by design. If you know me at all, you know that I'm an educator, very much more than I am an animal scientist. So really in that vein, we've really set this up to kind of be focused on students and focused on learning and focused on experience, and really to make it authentic production experience. And those have been kind of the tenets of the program that we've built here. We have a couple of courses that work very closely with the farm. I'll talk about in just a minute. And then something else unique, we kind of use management teams of students to kind of run the farm on a daily, weekly, kind of short-term basis. But we work with a couple of courses. We have a swine production course. It's a fall course that allows students to kind of follow the production cycle of a pig. Students that enroll in that course, in addition to their normal coursework that they work through like any other course, they're also assigned a group of sows. Within that group of sows, they kind of plan the heat synchronization, all the planning that goes with that. They select matings, they look at the genetics behind that and kind of plan that out. They kind of do all the heat checking, they do all the breeding, even up to and including in most cases, the extension and collection of the semen that they use. They, of course, take care of all the health protocol vaccinations on those sows, preg checking, etc. If it's part of the production cycle, reproductively speaking, the students in that swine production, it's really kind of a farm operations course as well. They do it. Later on, when we roll through the sale preview, you'll hear me say things like, this litter was planned and bred by this group of students, and that's really what I'm referring to there. Is that those were the group of students in that 426 swine production course that planned and bred those animals, and in many cases stuck around and came back for our spring version of the class, which is. All right, so we have this AJR 444 Livestock Promotion and Entrepreneurship class. That's a spring class. That's an opportunity for those students, among other projects and assignments, to kind of market the pigs that many of them produced in the fall. They run this sale, they run some of our online sales, they do some farm promotion as well. But for several of the students, it's kind of the culmination of 2 semesters of work where they worked in the swine production farm operations side during the fall semester, kind of creating those pigs, and then they get to come back in the spring and then work with them and kind of market them as well. So these students kind of down in front of me have worked again through this semester marketing these animals and working with them, getting them sale ready. And many of them are from the fall semester where they actually kind of created these as well. Certainly we don't have time to recognize all of these students, and they've all done wonderful things through the semester, and will hopefully continue to do wonderful things as we round out the next month or so. But I did want to kind of call out a couple of students who have kind of stepped up in a leadership role from that class. And first, I want to recognize Lauren Roulette. Has really kind of stepped up in a leadership capacity. There's right in front of me there. I don't know if that was by mandate or just how it worked out, but really kind of stepped up and led that pig sale kind of planning group, and took on a role with some design, and took on a role with kind of keeping some things moving forward there. So certainly, thankful for her work there. Madison Bain was another one who's spent quite a lot of time out at the farm working with the pigs, getting them ready as part of that class, and kind of took on a leadership role there as far as working with some of the animals and kind of getting them ready for this preview, and then getting them ready for the pictures that y'all will see here in just a few days. So, but I again wanted to recognize those students among a group of many outstanding students, kind of just rose to the top and stepped up into some leadership roles there. Next, I do want to talk about a group that's very important to what we do, very important to me. This is our student management team, our group of kind of student workers and volunteers that work with the farm on a daily basis. We, of course, have the classes that work with the production cycle and work with the reproductive needs of the farm and do a lot of that. But things still need to get done on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, and there needs to be some leadership and planning there. And again, we operate a little bit differently. We have what I think is a pretty cool setup of kind of a student leadership or management team rather than a full-time farm manager. And so these students over to my right have been working. What they do is they each kind of take on for the year. They take on a lead role in one area of the farm, and then that's kind of their baby or their piece that they operate or they manage. And they pretty much do everything from a management standpoint that needs done in that area, as well as kind of work as part of that overall farm operations management team. But I wanted to recognize we have Alexis Stevenson. Alexis is from here in Kentucky. She oversees our finishing barn, manages that, and has also taken over our product marketing area. We'll be looking at kind of working some of our meat product, pork product, some different directions, and she'll be leading that. She also soon will be taking over kind of our farm promotion and social media piece as well, coming back next year. Bryce Kohlmeyer, where are you, Bryce? There you are in the back, in the black mask there. Bryce is from Illinois. Bryce oversees and manages our boar stud. So he kind of does all things management related, nutrition related, planning related for the boar stud. Certainly works out collection, extension. He's the guy you need to talk to, the guy you need to see if you want to purchase some semen. We typically keep 8 to 10 boars on stud here that we use in courses, and of course also sell semen there. We do have, if you are part of Kentucky FFA or 4-H and have a swine project, certainly talk to us. We have some opportunities for getting semen through a program there at reduced or sometimes free cost. Just a little side note on the boar stud there. Lauren, where is Lauren? Lauren Sharp comes to us from Indiana. Lauren runs our farrowing and nursery operation, also helps out a little bit with the breeding herd. I think we'll be moving a little bit in that direction as well toward the breeding herd in coming years. Shelby, you can't see Shelby because Shelby's running the camera, but Shelby Shank comes to us from Ohio. She has, for the last several years, she has run our social media, our farm promotion. She does a lot of our education, our training videos, runs some of our coursework, has also served as a TA in some of our swine courses. Shelby is one that unfortunately for us, fortunately for her, she is graduating. She'll be leaving us here in about 5 very short weeks. She is headed to, she's recently accepted a role at Texas Tech. She'll be there kind of to pursue a degree as well as an assistantship in agricultural communications. So Shelby, you will be missed. Big shoes to fill. Hate to see you go, but very, very proud of you and the direction you're headed. Luke Boditcher over here on the far right, one of our Kentucky natives. He runs sales and show pigs. So he's one that those of you who kind of want to contact someone and talk to someone about some of these show pigs, deliveries, things like that, he'll be someone that you'll be talking to. But Luke runs all things sale pig related. So he's been a very, very busy man for the last 5 or 6 weeks, and probably going to kick back and relax here in about 10 days for just a little while. Last and certainly not least is Kirsten Ayer. Kirsten, if you know Kirsten very well, you know that she is very averse to the spotlight, very averse to microphones. I tried very hard to get her up here to talk about some of the pigs. She could probably certainly do a better job than I can. Tried to get her up here to talk a little bit about her student workers, but she declined that opportunity. So, but she's hiding over there in the corner. Kirsten has been the closest thing we have to a farm manager for the last couple of years. She kind of keeps this crew right here all working the same direction, kind of keeps them, I guess, all afloat. But she's been doing that. For those of you who've been around our program for a while, you know the last several years we've had a very strong tradition of kind of graduate student farm managers who kind of keep this thing rolling. Certainly, prior to Kirsten, we had Ella Firquin. For those of you who knew Ella, certainly stepped up and did a wonderful job in that role, and even going back before that to students like Claire Crocker. And so we've had a long tradition of graduate student farm managers kind of running things here for us. And Kirsten has certainly taken on that role and filled that role the last couple of years. And so certainly she will be missed. She will be kind of finishing her degree and going back to her family farm and working there but she will be missed at the farm. She will be missed on a personal level. So again, hate to see Kirsten leaving, but very, very proud of her and what she has done and what she will continue to do. So with that, I want to go ahead and step down for a moment. I want to welcome our Dean, Dr. Tony Brannon, up here. As he kind of walks up, I will mention, I get a lot of contacts from people at other colleges and other universities, and they ask things about, we're looking at doing something like this, or we're trying to do something like this, and advice, and what do you recommend? And it comes down to a lot of things. You have to have good students, and you have, like us, and you have to have great facilities like we do. But maybe above anything else, you have to have great administration who will support you in what you do. And Dr. Brannon is very much the reason that we get to do what we get to do. So welcome, Dr. Brannon.
And as I come up, all the students leave. Well, welcome, and we appreciate you tuning in to this. And you've just seen some of our best assets. Murray State Agriculture is really a platinum program, and it's because of our students and our faculty. And I just want to take just a second to brag on them. They're the best of the best, and we pride ourselves on providing hands-on education, and it doesn't get any more hands-on and hands-in than this one, than this operation. And we just appreciate them and appreciate Professor Schultz and his leadership, our department head, Shay Poore, Assistant Dean Brian Parr, and everybody in administration. I want to give a shout out to Claire Crocker. That may not be a name that you're familiar with, but Claire Crocker was a presidential fellowship student at Murray State, and she had this goal. She was a pre-vet student. She said, why don't we start a show pig operation? And that was at least 10 or 11 years ago, and she got all this started, her and Professor Bill DeWeese. And little did we know where it was going to go. Matter of fact, we gathered right back here in this same area, and we had a pig, I think it brought $125, and we were tickled to death because we never sold one that high. But we were devoid of pigs when we started that. There was no pigs on our farm. And the reason we have our farms is for hands-on education. And we pride ourselves around here, and they're all going to, sick and tired of this to ad nauseum, but we pride ourselves on getting an education instead of just a degree. And that means you do things like this. You have some leadership, you have some experience that gets you out of the classroom. And we're very, very pleased with this operation. We're pleased that you joined today. So shout out to Claire, shout out to our students, shout out to our faculty, our facility here at the Cherry Expo Center. A shout out to our alumni. Many of you have been consistent supporters of ours. The swine community has been a good supporters of ours. We just had a producer. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a gentleman and an operation by the name of Jimmy Tosh and Tosh Farms, who just donated a very big donation and hog barn to us. Sorry about that. Day in the life of an administrator. It's a weanling to finish operation. A couple years ago, we added a farrowing operation. We've improved those facilities, and we got the support of the community. So to the alumni, we thank you. Stay in touch. Thank you for buying a pig from us. We know you people have choices. But when you buy a Murray State pig, you buy an education. You buy an education for a student, and we like to think we got the best educated pigs around, right? So I hope y'all have a good day. Bid often, bid high. Take care of these kids. Take care of this program. Don't be a stranger. Come see us when we can be back here live next year, and we appreciate your ongoing support.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Brannon. Have a few kind of sale announcements as we kind of get these pigs ready to roll through for this preview here. Couple of things. So reminder, bidding will be on showpig.com. That'll be April 6th. So this preview you'll be watching on April 5th on Monday. Bidding will open, of course, at 4 o'clock on April 6th on that Tuesday. Should have pictures and video kind of posted by Saturday. I know we've had a number of our kind of local customers and our repeat customers kind of contact us and reach out to us, and a little bit nervous about the online bidding process. A couple of things I would note. Showpig.com through Wenton Group, very easy to sign up. Kind of go in there, create yourself an account. Very, very easy. You can go through and view the pigs without creating an account if you just go to that link and find our our sales site. For those of you who would really prefer not to create an account, we will be accepting phone bids just the same that we do through our live sale. So those numbers, and we'll post those numbers at the end of this, but those numbers, kind of reach out to us via phone. We'll need to talk to you ahead of time, so please do contact us ahead of time. We need some information from you. We will not be setting up an account in your name or anything like that. We'll do the same phone bid process that we do for our live sale every year. Payment, something a little bit new this year. You'll have the option of paying through Went or directly to us. We will be able to accept direct payments. That is not something we've been able to do in the past for online sales, so that is something new to note. Delivery options and pickup, they will be posted shortly if they're not posted already. That'll be something to contact Kirsten to arrange kind of any pickup, any delivery. Another reminder, our barn is open for viewing of these pigs this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, we'll have that posted on social media, so we'll be able to view those pigs. So kind of contact Luke, and we'll get you set up by appointment. We always have a lot of people running through the barns before our sale, and we hope that this year is no different. So we'll go ahead and bring these pigs on up for a preview and kind of work through them. We'll do it by litter. While we're waiting on these pigs, I'll go ahead and mention that not everything that's in this preview, or excuse me, not everything that's in the sale is in this preview. We had some space limitations here at this facility and kind of getting them over to this facility. And so we tried to kind of choose a representative of each litter, and so we'll have two to four pigs from each litter, and kind of give us a chance to preview them and be able to kind of talk about them. So with that, we'll go ahead and roll into some pigs. Here we go. Got our audio just adjusted a little bit. I've got Kirsten up here with me. We'll see if we can get her to say just about maybe 3 words over the next 30 minutes or so as we talk about these pigs. We're going to transition here, and we always have a motto out here: people before pigs. And so we've talked about our people first, and now we'll kind of roll through and talk about our pigs. So we'll get started here. This one litter here is an interesting one genetically. Kind of lines up some. For those of you familiar with our kind of long time York herd sire, No Deal was really unique. I think maybe a little bit ahead of his time. Really elevated, really good range of motion. Put a lot of productive daughters back in the herd. He's one that we actually sold last spring and now stands at Daryl Drake's place. But this is an interesting one genetically because it really lines up him and his littermate sister. And so kind of what we were going for, anybody like kind of looking for gilts, I think this is interesting genetically. And as you look at this gilt we're offering here, she's really elevated up front. I think really moves well out of her hip. Like some things about her. Those of you who've followed our Yorkshire program, she maybe pushes the envelope a little bit more than maybe some of our Yorks. So those of you looking for something maybe just a little bit more out there, this one might be here, kind of maybe both phenotypically and genetically. Here's we look at these crosses that just came in here. These 2 litters. This is a set again, actually same sire. We went a little bit different direction genetically maybe than some people might. We like to tie a lot of those Yorks and a lot of those peers kind of back into our cross herd, and really aiming for consistency there, and you definitely got it here in this litter. There's not a nickel's worth difference between these hogs in this set right here. They've kind of all got a lot of elevation up front, really good look from their blade forward. All are going to have more than enough muscle, maybe a little more stoutness of feature than what you might expect out of a Yorkshire sire, and they're getting that from their mama. Really, they're out of 8-10 is their mama. She's a No Mercy daughter that we have around, and really is just monster legged. Kind of almost looks like a barrow, honestly. If you show up and go out to the sow lot, you might mistake her for a barrow, except for she breeds and stands hard and lays down and takes care of her pigs. So but this set, I think, again, a really consistent set. I think as you study them from their blade up forward, study them at the pastern at the ground, really like their build. Again, kind of through their blade up front. A lot of experience with this kind of mating here with this Yorkshire line back on this particular crossbred line, and they tend to perform well. Tend to have kind of a wide range of endpoints you can work with, and just kind of pretty flexible all around as far as what you do with them, how you feed them. Here, this set of 3 litter Yorks that just came in here. Um, this is actually a repeat mating for us. These are private sector, which is a herd boar we bought from Olson's last year. And boy, we couldn't be happier with that guy. That one he makes them correct at the ground. It's hard to poke a hole in that one or his pigs. Really good set to their hock, set to their hip. He makes them really flexible. Just kind of float across the ring. And these pigs kind of take that from him, and then they've got maybe a little added punch, a little extra style from their mama, which is one we got from Flash Bowlers. This set of Yorks I guess is maybe been a barn favorite for us for a while. I think just really deep, and we've already laid in a couple of full sibs out of this, or we'd probably be keeping a couple of these gilts. But kind of as a set, I think a lot of spread down their top, really bold in their rib, a lot of shape there, good at the ground, especially for Yorks. You'll see them kind of just right at their pastern, come up, really good hock, good hip in most of them. Like the way they kind of get out and move. And again, another set that I think particularly for Yorks, really like kind of their elevation across the board. Kind of walking through these, we've got -4 is a pretty stout one, and we've got -7 in there is maybe a little bigger outline. She's one that maybe is maybe a little more flexible than the rest, and -8, that's one that I think is maybe got a really cool look. Probably her best days are ahead of her yet. Kirsten, do you have anything to add here?
I don't.
Well, we got 2 words out of her so far. Maybe next year I'll be able to get Luke up here. He'll probably talk more than I do. These 4-litter crosses here that just came in. These guys are I think going to be really just good, basic, functional, all around pigs. Should be pretty easy feeding. This No Mercy 15-6, which was a kind of our longtime herd sire in the crossbred side of things. He's worked really well. We've had some success with him back on Yorkshire females, and so this is one of those. Went back to a Yorkshire sow that was kind of an Olson bred York sow, and kind of a real wide made, heavy muscled, stouter featured kind of a York that we kind of read as kind of built for making crosses, and kind of took her back on that crossbred boar, and got, I think, a pretty good look up front on these, pretty good functional hind legs. Again, should be real easy feeding, good appetite, kind of just all around pigs that if somebody needs something to just kind of take and put on some feed for a while and watch them go, I think these would be kind of a good starter type pig for anybody looking for something like that. Here are these 5-litter crosses coming in here. You can see the gilt, the belted one in particular, is not wanting to cooperate real well here for us. They've never been on this particular kind of sawdust here. Is a little bit new for them. Some of them are getting a little high centered on us as they get around. I'm guessing when we do a video for her here in a couple of days over at the hog barn, I'm guessing she'll kind of show her true colors and move a little bit better.
But this is a pair here that I guess we like an awful lot. They're out of one of our more productive mamas that kind of has some multiple shots of visionary in her and kind of generates like you think she would with that kind of a pedigree. Um, I think these kind of both, when they're out and off this sawdust here, they profile real well. They're extended kind of up front. I think both when they leave, and you'll see here as they turn and go, you'll see them kind of a pretty wide pin set, kind of a bold hip in them, and I think still handle it pretty well and kind of go square to the ground on that hock there. Here as these 7 liters come in, this is definitely our deepest, kind of most consistent crossbred litter, actually litter of any breed on the farm this year. And their mama, which we call Uno around here, she's one that is kind of quickly developing a reputation around here for having those deep, consistent litters and taking care of them. And she's if I had to pick, right now out at the farm, if the barn was on fire and I had to save one crossbred sow, it'd probably be her, to be honest with you. So have a lot of faith in her, have a lot of faith in this set of pigs. Very, very deep set. I think you got to appreciate the kind of the natural elevation up front, the correctness of skeleton. Yet they're still really bold in their forearm. If you kind of study them at the ground, study them at their chest floor, I think they're not just pretty at first glance. You'll take a look at a few of these, and I'm guessing here in a few days they're going to picture pretty well. But as you study them, they're not just a pretty face. I think as you study them at the ground, they've got a little more stoutness of feature than what they initially led on. They've got a little more center body, and truthfully, they've got a lot more rib shape, probably on average, coming right out of the back side of their blade. If you can, I don't know if you can see that in the as this is videoing or not, Shelby, but they've got quite a bit of rib shape there. I think really a lot bolder than you would think at first. I think combine that with, again, a lot of elevation, a lot of good look up front. Just an overall deep, consistent litter that I guess we're awful proud of. And any one of these gilts here, if they don't get moved in the sale, we'd be perfectly happy to keep them around, just knowing what their mother is like and knowing what that entire sow family is like, and looking at these phenotypically, and kind of coming out of No Mercy 15-6, which his daughters have really been kind of bulletproof, both in the breeding herd and in the farrowing crates. So I guess is what I'm saying is, if some of these don't sell, don't call on Wednesday morning expecting to buy some of these for $200. We're awful proud of this set of gilts right here in front of us. Here we have litter of hamps coming in that is a little bit green right here. They're just now starting to come into massing up a little bit, and maybe another day or two before we take pictures of these for the sale, they might even have massed up a little bit from where you're seeing them right here. But these are a set. I think all the pieces are there. Good look up front. These gilts particularly are really feminine as you study them through their head and neck, and kind of still have some forearm in them, still have some chest floor in them. I think they're going to come to even more mass and rib and center body. That doesn't scare me a little bit. With being out of mission statement, we've had about half a dozen litters out of him so far, and we've yet to see any of them not mass up. So that's never been an issue there. So usually on his pigs, when they the ones that turn out really solid out of him are usually the ones that are a little bit green early, a little bit more maybe more refined, especially the gilts, a little bit more feminine, kind of like these are. So I've kind of got high hopes for the way that these hamps here, particularly the gilts, are going to turn out. But for anyone looking maybe for replacement Hampshire gilts, this is one that comes out of our best Hampshire sow that we have on the farm. We've over the last few years bought a number of Hampshire gilts from different people, and a number of them from Daryl Drake. And out of the 4 or so Bush League daughters that we've bought from Daryl, their mama has proven to be by far the most consistent generator, and it's kind of one that we've really kind of built around. And again, for maybe anybody looking to tie into some replacement gilts here on the Hampshire side, these might be a couple to look at, just looking at the sow that they come out of. Speaking of hogs out of a good sow, these 9 litters here, they're out of our really old. This may be one of her last litters that we have out of her, our old kind of high gear swagger sow. This is one that we got from Lensman Show Pigs. One of those deals. I think Kenny felt bad for us for having to put up with Cody for a few years, and brought her down to us, but several years ago. And she's been one that she'd be the granddam of several of the sows that we've talked about already on the crossbred side. And she's really kind of the matriarch of one of our two major crossbred sow families here. And we went a little different route this time, and took her to a York. And this is a sow that has always added a ton of power, a lot of bone, a lot of mass. And if anything, when we've had issues, it's been with hogs that maybe lacked a little bit of flexibility, maybe lacked a little bit of design, and kind of taken her to struck a nerve here. I think after talking to Chad up there about options there, this is kind of where we arrived, and that this was the right way to go. I really appreciate these hogs from their kind of design and balance as you study these hogs. It's really hard to poke a hole in them as far as their build. Again, another set that, even though they're out of a York, I think they're a little bit stouter featured maybe than what you'd expect. And again, they're getting that from that particular sow. Well, somebody just ran some red hogs here in front of me, and not always 100% sure what to do with red hogs around here. We've gotten into Durocs here, I guess, about 2 years ago, and I guess we can thank Ella Ferquin. That was maybe her parting gift to us as she left a few years back, was to convince us to get into some Duroc hogs. And we've come around to kind of figuring out how to breed these, and we are slow learners, but we do learn. We've got here these 10 litters here. We kind of, after talking to Terry Schaefer, and after breeding this sow a few times, and understanding what she brings to the table as far as design and build and flexibility, and understanding that we need to add some power, add some bone, add some mass to these, and kind of went with Fate Has It there. And I think that was going to be a really good match for them. As you study these these hogs, they've all got some depth of chest. I think they're built right, kind of through their forearm, through their blade, have pretty good hips on them. Really, I guess, like these, as far as the Durocs that we've put together so far, this is probably the best set there. But like a lot of things about these. Kirsten, you have anything to add here on the Duroc side?
Not that I know of.
Maybe we get you to spend a little bit more time with Wade on the weekends. Maybe some of that'll rub off.
It might.
I don't know what I'm going to do around here. I've got my farm manager dating a Duroc breeder. I've got my daughter convinced she wants to be a Duroc breeder. I've gone wrong somewhere in life.
Better you're heading in the right direction.
Here as we start to round things out, these 11 litter Yorks coming in, these guys are really green today, and you know, I hate to even say that. I know it's a kind of a 4-letter word when we're talking about moving little pigs, but these 11 litters, I think there's something to them here. As you look at them genetically, they line up a couple of different things on both sides of their pedigree. They line up some like this, they line up some parlay, have a couple of shots of our old 6-5 sow that we got from Hughes Show Pigs up there in Illinois. So this is I said, I guess genetically I think has quite a few to offer, and I think also really brings some stuff to the table as far as look and build, as we look at their front end, as we look at their blade and forearm. Like a lot of the Yorks that we've talked about so far, I think a little extra elevation up front than maybe what you're going to find a lot of places on the Yorkshires. And I think they're going to come to that body and they're going to come to that muscle. But I think as you study their build and you study what they offer, there's one or two of them in here of these gilts that are maybe just a little bit further along than the rest as far as their maturity pattern. And I think they're starting to demonstrate a little bit of maybe what we're going to see with the other couple as they come along. But again, I have high hopes, probably about as high hopes for these 11 litters as I do anything. Again, they're a little bit younger, probably I guess the youngest litter that we're going to have in this sale. But I think somebody who studies these and kind of gets in on these a little bit early is maybe going to look pretty smart here in a couple of months, maybe compared to what they might have to pay for them in another 20 or 30 days here. So I guess that's my parting deal on these, is maybe get in on them while you can, because if you don't, we might decide to keep this set here. Well, that rounds out our pig viewing here. Thanks for tuning in, and again, check out showpig.com